Alrighty, hello once again, everyone. We are going to go ahead and tackle exercise 3 at the moment. So I created a new page. Exercise 3 tells us it's going to be in millimeters. So we're going to go to millimeter. Once again, set these 2, 3 decimal points. Okay. So for this shape, I'm actually going to be starting out with the outermost circle, and we're going to extrude from there and go from there, okay? So we're going to create our sketch on the front plane for this one. Select our circle and center it. We're going to smart dimension the circle. It's going to be 150 millimeters. Awesome. And just to further avoid my own confusion, we're going to go ahead and extrude this now. So the width of this is going to be 50 millimeters. Here we go. Boop. And then we are going to be creating the hole in the middle of it. So we're going to go to the face again, create another circle. Smart dimension this one to be, what does the textbook tell us? It's going to be 80 millimeters. 80 millimeters. I'm going to go to features. We're going to go to extruded cut on this guy. And then here, we are not going through all. We are going blind, in fact, but we're actually going to be going to, the textbook tells us that the width is 25. So 25 inches, 25 millimeters, my bad. So it's going to be half of the width of that. Alrighty, there's that. And then from here, we are going to create the square right in the center of it. So we're going to go to sketch, selecting this face right here. We're going to be creating a center square, and this helps us out a lot because we did everything centered. Smart dimension. What are the dimensions of this guy? Right here. Hopefully you can see them. 45. 45 is the full square, so it's going to be 45 by 45. Instead of measuring each side identically, what I'm going to do, for the sake of variety, is I'm going to select everything, select that, select this, and we're going to make them equal. There we go. So now we got a perfect square. It's fully defined once again. And we will create a, what am I looking for? Extruded cut. This cut is going to go all the way through to the other side because it is hollow on the inside, even though the image does not seem to show that. There we go. So far we got this. Okay. Next we're going to be creating the four, how do I call them? The four little circles at the outside. So the way that we're going to do them is we are going to go to create yet another sketch. This one we can choose the big one. And I'm going to be using the center line because it's a line that won't remain on there. There we go. You see how that little yellow shows up? Horizontal. Okay. We're going to be creating a second one. It's going to go from here to, let's just choose a random angle here because we're going to be smart dimensioning that one as well. We're going to do this to here. And then, what angle do we want for these? Textbook tells us it should be, I believe it should be a 45-degree angle, right? 45 degrees. Cool. Do you see how that angled itself? It's going to be using the fact that this is pivoted on a horizontal relation to push that one up instead of the bottom one. So it helps a lot to have them like this. Okay? And then we are also going to be using a construction geometry for our inner circle. We're going to be doing this, creating a circle just like this. We're going to say for construction. That way it ends up basically being a center line circle. We're going to dimension this guy to be, what does the textbook tell us? It is 115, 115. There we go. Oops. Changed the angle on it when I did not mean. All right. The angle of the view, I mean. Then here, we can go ahead and create an extrusion as we want it to be. So we're going to go ahead and create a circle. This whole thing was to create circles right at these intersections right here. Okay. Let me see if I can get that intersection to matter. Oh, you know what? It'd be better if this one is not construction geometry. Give me a second. Right, we're going to be creating the circle right where they overlap. There we go. Just tell me they're coincident right there. Boop. Smart dimension. The size here is going to be 20 millimeters. Okay. And here we're going to create another extrusion. And this extrusion is not going to be through all. It's going to be blind a certain specific extrusion length that is going to be 15 millimeters. Going to accept that. And then before we continue, I'm actually going to make these ones have tapped holes. It's going to be hole wizard. I'm going to do hole wizard. We're going to do, the textbook specifies a 12 by 1.5 tapped hole default depth settings. And 12 by 1.5. So we're going to be using metric on this one because it's millimeters. Remember, not inches. We're not going to use ANSI inch. We're using ANSI metric. 12 by 1.5. 12 by 1.5. Tapped hole. This was a tapped hole, correct? Straight tap. Alrighty. And then we're going to keep that to its default settings, which is going to be blind, and then whatever these guys are. Position is going to be on this face right here. Then once again, in order to center it, we're going to be highlighting the orange areas. I don't know if you can see it, but the little center one showed up right there. There we go. And that's the tap that we want. It is. It is. So we're going to go ahead and accept this guy. There we go. There's our shape. We have our shape once again. I will right click, details, shaded cosmetic threads, because this is a new project and it did not save the previous settings on that. So we have the threads, the cosmetic threads there. They look very pretty. I'm going to go ahead and build this real quick and save it. That way I don't have to worry about it. All right, this one's going to be exercise 3. Okay. And then we are going to create, instead of a linear pattern from the previous one, we're going to be using a circular pattern. This pattern is going to be able to kind of go around the circle. You'll be able to see. So for the first thing, we're actually going to select the things that we're going to be patterning out first. I'm going to use this box extrude 2, which is my, yours might be named differently, 3, 4, depending on how many times you tried it. But this is going to be the shape of the extrusion that we created earlier. And then we're also going to do it the same thing to the tapped hole, which is the hole wizard. And then, so we got those two features selected. We're going to be going. This one determines the direction. We're going to select this box. And the direction is going to be determined by, you can choose any face that is going to follow the groove of that. I can choose this one. It's going to do the same thing, even if it maybe displays it a little strangely. But The easiest thing to do is just use the face you're actually working on. Oh, well in this case, I betrayed us. Because it's a little far out. So we won't be using that face actually, we're going to be using this guy then. There we go. So this is what we want. And then 360 degrees because we do want it to go all the way around. Say I were to decrease this to, I don't know, 60 degrees. It's going to be trying to bunch them all into those 60 degrees right there. So we are going to do 360 degrees. And then how many iterations we want of this. The total that we want is 4. So we're going to go ahead and select that, accept it, and it should replicate them just like that. Alrighty, so right now we are almost done, but we're not quite done, okay? We have one more thing we need to worry about. Sorry. And what is that thing we need to worry about? We're going to be creating a fillet around some of these objects. I believe the fillet for all of them is going to be the same, but let me just double check the textbook. And that is correct. It's going to be the same for all of them. So our fillet for these guys is going to be 2.5 millimeters. The items that we're going to fillet, we're going to be filleting, I believe it's going to be all of the faces. So you can go ahead and select. So there's ways of filleting things. You can choose them by line. And then also if you change these settings here, full preview, partial preview will only show you like one of the buttons that you press. No preview is not going to show you anything. I like to use full preview so I can see what I'm working with. But as you see, I chose edge 1, this edge right here. I can do that and individually choose the edges and choose the edges, etc., etc. What I like to do instead, because it does a lot of them at the same time, is we can go ahead and you say 12.5? I meant 2.5. Sorry about that, I just saw it right now. Okay, we're going to go ahead and select this face entirely, just anywhere on the actual face. And it's going to select that line, the interior line, these lines going up. And then this line here isn't going to have a fillet. The inside is not going to have a fillet. This is not going to have a fillet. So we should be all good to go. Just on that face. So select it. And then here we go. You can see how the edge is a little bit more rounded here. Got fillet here, here, and here. And now we are all good to go. We're going to change the material to, what is this, copper. Apply, close. And then for our evaluation, our mass is going to be, volume is in millimeters this time instead of inches. 715,285.076 cubic millimeters. We're going to go ahead and save, and we are all done with this part as well. Thank you for watching.